Namaste, good evening,
Namaste.
and yes, and welcome, dear friends, to edition of Mana HR Wellbeing Dialogues in with more than HR Global. And as always, we have a guest, two guests, and as you may have figured by now, our guests are really more than guests. They are friends. They are people who are very much part of our fraternity. They are our family. So I welcome today Kiran and Aseem. I think he will join us in just a bit. So great welcome to you, Kiran, to this show.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Rajesh ji. And of course, thank you, Mana Wellness, for organizing this series. Wonderful to be here with all of you today. And very much excited to, have a real good, candid dialogue with you.
Absolutely. So our dialogues have been so much fun. You can think of them as one more place where we can interact not just with the guest who's on the show, but even all our audiences who join us on LinkedIn Live.
Wow. Thank you. Would be interesting to see the questions and the interaction with the audience too. Thank you,
Yes.
audience, for joining. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, audiences, I'm telling you very early on, you are going to have a lot of food for thought and hence questions. You can keep dropping them in and we will take them up as and when during the course of our discussion today.
So
So,
Rajesh, you've
Kiran,
already set up high expectations now and making difficult for me and Aseem for sure.
yes. So, I'm going to make it a little easy for you by asking you a very simple question, Kiran. वो ये है, could you share a little bit about your professional background? And I truly believe our idea of well-being keeps evolving. So what is your idea of well-being as of today? But please share a little bit about your professional background.
All right, so interesting professional background. Of course, I'm a part of a Invenue LSI Academy, and we are a consulting organization. And to make it more crisp, I'm a learner and by profession also, and I had been into a learning and development space from last 20 years. And the definition of well-being for me, as the time changed, is all about loving yourself and being happy.
Wow, superb. So, okay, that actually gives me an opportunity to ask you this, that is there an effort required to really, we'll come to the happiness part a little later, but is there an effort required to remind oneself that hey, I need to love myself before I love others?
Yeah, I think it's a conscious choice that we make, right? By nature, as we grow, we tend to criticize ourselves a lot. Oh, I could have done this better, or somebody's better than me. I don't have these things. So your mind keeps chattering about negative things more, and you start hating yourself first. So you are your own critic first, then the others outside in the world there. Wow, we have a Asim here. Hi, Asim.
Hi,
Namaste.
hi, hi, Rajesh. Hi, Kiran.
Hi and namaste, Aseem.
Namaste.
See, here is what happens when HR people are paying attention to others well-being.
Yeah,
कि वो वेल-बीइंग के लिए थोड़ा सा ऑफिस में काम करते करते यहाँ पर पहुंचने में थोड़ी देरी हो जाती है, बट वी आर वेरी डिलाइटेड टू हैव यू.
same here, Rajesh. Same here, Kiran. So excited to be part of this wonderful
Yes,
dialogue, and which is very
yes,
critical and relevant in
yes.
these days,
Kiran, please
especially.
finish what you were saying and then I'll
Yeah.
come
So I
back
was
to
Yeah,
talking about the beautiful gift that God has given to us, mind, right? And how we keep on using this mind in a not in a right way, right? And that's where you become your own hater first, then becoming your own lover first. And because you are internally you are like this, you see with those lenses how the people behave with you. You start hating people. You start developing some kind of an irritation, frustration, and all those negative things about others too. and that takes away all the happiness in your life that and you stop missing and stop looking at the good things around you. So that's what I just wanted to add here.
Sure. So, Aseem, could you share a little bit about your, very briefly about your professional journey, number one? And could you share a little bit about your idea of well being as it is today, as in present moments, because it keeps evolving over our professional journey? Please share. Aseem, are you on mute? I'm unable to hear you. We could hear you
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. Sorry. I had muted it. I forgot to unmute it. So it's more than a decade and a half. The My journey in HR has been quite evolving and transformational. So with every passing year and with every passing company, I have found new dimension in my personality, and I've also learned a lot. Learned from the people like you, people like fraternity, from my bosses, juniors. So learning is constant and it's still under. I'm still continuing, and so in that entire year, like around 18 years or so. So I'll not talk about the professional like HR per se, which we talk. I'll talk about the softer part of HR,
Sure.
which enables us to perform the duties in a best possible manner. So I have found and I've discovered that over these years, the you can say the optimum performance. When I talk about optimum performance, so initial years, since the focus was not there on my own discovery, and focus was not there on learning deeply, so performance was there and appreciation was also there, but that was not giving satisfaction and fulfillment to me. I'll be very honest. So initial years I'm talking about. Of course, organization doesn't have any role to play in this. So I can be a very difficult phase in an organization. I can be very peak phase on organizations. Organization may be very much highly growing. I may be highly paid. I may have been given a lot of freedom, but despite that, in that journey, the fulfillment part and the satisfaction and happiness part, which you talk about, happiness
Superb.
quotient, that was initially missing. And even if it was there, it was linked to some kind of tangible, cause outside and effect inside. So that was the kind of you can say illusion in my mind. Over these years, I think that journey inside and outside, there is gap is less. So
Wow.
the inside
So well
the
put.
gap has become less, right? So I'll come to the wellness part. Definitely, you just asked me to discuss about the journey in HR.
Yes.
So the gap initially it was very wide. So my focus was always to satisfy all stakeholders, be it in company or be it in society or in family, as an HR. So that was my endeavor, and during that endeavor, sometimes I was successful, sometimes I was not successful. So when I was successful by like enabling others be happy, or by doing something which others want, or doing something which my job wants or my family wants, so sometimes it happiness used to come, but that was temporary because these needs and wants in others keeps on changing. So
Superb.
that so now over last few years, and of course that meeting good people like you, and it's Indian wisdom says that a man is known by the company he keeps. So I consciously decide and choose which people to be connected with. That is something I'm fortunate with. So that has really helped me. Of course, that is number one. And second, of course, my own discovery and my own journey inside, that has really helped me to
Superb.
diminish this gap inside. Now my whatever I do, even if I get criticism, I am happy. Even I get the like appreciation, I am happy. So that has now started happening. So now all these things are linked to the wellness and
Absolutely.
wellness and health part. So again, initial years I used to think that wellness is related to physical wellness, or I get so many things and I get a good job, I get like I my son performs well, or I am fit, or I don't have any disease, or I am able to perform my duties. I used to feel that this is wellness for me. So fitness
Yes.
and wellness, but I did not give much focus on consciously trying to
Yes.
inculcate wellness inside, despite whatever happening in my mind. So
Sure.
I mean to say that remaining equanimous despite the circumstances outside.
Sure.
So I have been trying a lot, like spirituality. I have been trying a lot. Sometimes I used to do bhakti yoga. Sometimes I used to do meditation and all. But
Yes.
that journey now I feel that and of course, everyone, nobody can say that journey is completed. It's always undergoing. Every passing day you learn a lot. So I really feel that one must focus on wellness part inside mental wellness, because I feel that HR is like a tree, or
Yes.
HR is like a mother. If mother is happy, mother is literate, entire family will be literate and happy. Similarly, if HR is happy and HR is literate inside, literate, spiritually literate, or
Yes.
conscious, or evolved, so definitely it will lead to the bigger transformation in the company, not only the employees but also entire stakeholders, be it management, promoters, anyone
Yes.
it touches, right?
Super. Very interesting. I've gone off camera because my image suddenly became violet, and it didn't contribute to my wellness at all. I'll come back in a bit, uh, by video, I mean. Otherwise, I'm very much here. So please bear with me for the moment, Kiran and Aseem and audiences, please. Yes. So we already have a question coming in, but I'm going to take it in a bit. Okay. Aseem, I'm going to continue our conversation first and then go to Kiran. Okay. मैंने देखा है, since you spoke so much about self discovery, मैंने देखा है आजकल आपकी कविताएं काफी बढ़ गई है. Okay, in the last, let's say, 1 year, while it may have been there, mm, within you for much longer.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is directly on this, that as HR and in organizations, perhaps we barely pay attention to what people love to do beyond work. How much would this contribute if we were to start appreciating people for their, I would say, interests and hobbies beyond the workplace? What do you say?
A lot, immensely. So I think that HR, or for that matter, any senior or any colleague, before, if you want something to be done professionally, and
Yes.
we are working in a professional atmosphere, we want some productivity happen and some money to come to the company. That's the bottom line, right?
Right.
So in order to do that, we should touch the first hearts of the people,
Right.
anybody who are in touch with, junior, senior, colleague, doesn't matter. And how to do that? Because you need to try to instigate that person, what that person aspirations is, what are the pain areas. So if you are able to do it, you may come to the work later, but initial discussion, initial that again, it's a discovery phase. It's a discovery phase where you are enabling that person to discover himself, and
Hmm.
that discovery includes finding your own passion, which is
Wow.
beyond the job, and helping him to pursue that passion. People forget, and organization forget, that if somebody is able to pursue the passion at home, that person
Yes.
is healthy inside the mind. It
Hmm.
means that person doesn't have conflicts. He has less conflicts, and when he will come to the job, automatically he'll be productive. Automatically, he doesn't have to do anything. So
Excellent.
if the person is happy at home, if person is happy coming to office, if person is given that atmosphere and opportunities to pursue his passion, hobbies, vocations, and whatever. And
Right.
sometimes what happens, the person even doesn't know that he what his hobbies are and why it is important. So HR
Hmm.
has to honestly try to put across this point that physical yoga, meditation, or song, music, dance, all these
Hmm.
positive things are important. Please do pursue it, and
Superb.
if possible, create atmosphere in the company where people are able to do it. Work will follow, productivity will follow. Nobody can stop it.
Excellent. So, folks, I'm going to repeat our first two insights, three insights that we got from our guests so far. Okay. First, we heard from Kiran that we probably start with self criticism and then move in the direction of, I'm calling it self appreciation rather than the cliche love. We move towards self appreciation, which is a choice that we make. Number one. Second, which Aseem said, is happiness and well being stems a lot from the gap between our seeking joy outside and finding it within. And number three, the more natural people are, the more swabhavikta they find in their own workplaces, their productivity will follow rather than having to demand it out of them. Superb. We are in just in another in about 15 minutes or lesser of this session. We've already got three insight. Next question to you, Kiran. Now, I've known you, Kiran, and for that matter, both of you for a fairly long time, and therefore I've been able to see the changes in your personality, some very subtle, some which are very obvious. And Kiran, one of the things which I've not only seen but discussed with you, और आपने शायद कुछ महीनों पहले ही बताया था, that you have become less reactive now and calmer at the workplace, and several things which bothered you earlier probably still make a difference to you. You care for it, but you don't react to it. You think about it and dwell on it. What's produced this change? And has your, more importantly, I'm just extending that question, has that been recognized by others at your workplace, especially your seniors? Yes, please share with us.
Very interesting question, Rajesh, because change is inevitable, right? And to answer your first question, it has taken a long time for bring about this change, but it's never too late, right? The moment you realize you need, there's something better stored for you, you look for it, right?
Yes,
And in my case, yes, being a very aggressive, very goal oriented, career conscious, anything and everything in this world was Kiran, right?
yes,
But then, the situations in your personal life, at work as well, you know, made me think a lot whether the way I am living and the way I treat people is this the right way of doing it?
yes,
Right. And is it helping me to build relationship, or is it helping me to just achieve what I want? So the
right,
bigger purpose was missing there. And thanks to Chiranjeev Gurukul and to Learning a Philosophy Study Group, that made me think about who am I as a person, right? Being in a learning and development field, I know a lot of Western philosophies there. We do a lot of these leadership training,
right.
blah 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 things, right? But I used to be the same person even after going through all those things. But what made me change is continuously attending, weekly attending this learning philosophy study group, where I learned about how important it is to look at the bigger picture first,
Correct.
looking at look at how important it is to build the relationship, respect every individual, like Asim also talked about, right? Touching their hearts, not just the mind, right? And it all starts with me first before I want somebody else to be nice to me or to be respectful or to love me, right?
Yes,
And I think that brought a big change in me, and not only at in a personal life but also at workplace. So it all starts from small things at home, right? For an example, maid not coming on time, you get irritated because you're getting late for the office, you have a call, or hundreds of
yes,
other things being lined up.
right.
So earlier I would get really upset and will shout at her and blah blah
Yes,
things, right?
yes,
But now I realize it's not helping me, or it's neither helping her, because we want each other definitely, right? If you have to live a good life here, and then at the same time, I realize that it's actually impacting my behavior, right?
mm,
And I'm not gaining anything out of it. She would come the way, whatever time and she has her reasons to come late, and I have my own reasons to do. So we both have reasons to do what we are doing, but that's a
Yes.
justification that my mind will always give it to me.
Sure.
But when you actually go do a get inside, go do a little bit deep dive, get into an inner journey, you would realize. And that's, as I said, in LPSG group and Chiranjeev Gurukul sessions that we attended, it is all about your mano, right?
Hmm.
And I think that made a huge difference of accepting the things as is,
Right.
right? And it doesn't matter if she's come late. It's
Right.
okay, it will be done after half an hour, 45 minutes. My call will go, I'll go ahead and attend my call. And I realized that change has made a huge difference in the relationships that I have today at work and also in my personal life.
So
And
more acceptability.
acceptability, yes, and
Hmm.
less of expectations,
Superb.
not judging people with what you see on the face of it, right? Because
Yes.
it's about how you perceive others' actions, right?
Right.
And even at work, right? Your team may not, you expect your team to be as good as you are, but you don't realize you come with that experience. The team is new, right?
Well
Your
said.
20 years of experience versus their 5 or 6 years of experience, what are you trying to compare, right?
Right.
And there was somebody there who would have helped me to grow to this level, so why
Hmm.
can't I be their coach and mentor at the same time?
Superb.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Kiran, I have therefore have a follow-up question for you.
Hmm.
While the answer may be obvious, I'd like you to dwell a little bit on it. It is connected to the second part of the question I anyways asked you. As you changed, how did you find the impact on your team members and on your seniors? Did your seniors recognize the change, and did your juniors change their way they were responding to you?
Yeah, so first of all, I could experience that change within me, right? At first, you yourself feel more calm, more composed, more happy,
Yes.
right? And your mental well-being and the physical health equally tells you everything, that there is some change that's there. Yeah.
Right.
And yes, when you talk about your team members, absolutely, my teams have actually told me multiple times, right? And they said, "Are
Nice.
Kiran, tum to I thought tum aisa bologe, tum aisa karoge, but you're so calm. You didn't even bother to react to it." And I said, "Yes, this is new Kiran for you." Yeah, but sustaining
Wow.
it is the most
Yes.
important part, right? So it has to be a conscious effort every time. It cannot be just one time where you're done with it. No. And I think with gradual practice and taking a
Right.
baby steps, it has helped me to sustain it so far. And my seniors, yes, even global calls, it is being recognized these days. So that
Brilliant.
feedback coming in, it's
Right.
quite encouraging, motivating for sure.
Yes.
So now I realize what I did for so many years was not the right way of treating people.
Superb. So
Yeah.
happy and also proud for you as a
No, but I
friend
think
and a
thanks,
professional.
it goes to the things that we do differently now. So the difference that has come is because um, we are going through the programs or the sessions. We have weekly sessions with
Hmm.
LPSG or Chiranjeev Gurukul or Indian Wisdom session. We've been doing on every Saturday, right? When
Right.
you hear your people talking about, or your group members talking about why certain things they do has helped them,
Hmm.
and the manthan that we do, right?
Right.
The reflections that we do, I think that is making a huge difference in the lives of people today.
Superb. I'm going to let our audiences know a little bit about this later on. Okay, Kiran? I'm
Yeah.
going to come back to Aseem right now. Aseem, here's my question for you. Okay. I'm sure that you'll be able to respond to this better now than the initial part of your career. Because you become more reflective and, if I may say, going within. So, why do we call it HR well being, and how does this affect our HR well-doing? क्या लग रहा है?
Okay, right. So, so well-being or wellness,
Yes.
well-being or wellness before even leads to happiness,
Hmm.
and happiness leads to satisfaction that everybody aspires for. Now we have to come back. So,
Hmm.
what leads to wellness?
Hmm.
Wellness leads to harmony inside the mind.
Hmm.
Well, harmony inside the mind leads to wellness. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
And what leads to harmony inside the mind? When there's a less friction inside the mind. What
Sure.
friction? Your inner self and the self which you want to project outside. There's always that friction
Nice.
happens. Like anybody who studies psychology, that friction is always happens always, and we always have multiple personalities. One for others, one for family, one for ourself. So it is called self ego or our own ego, or the ego which you are projecting outside. So
Yes.
as long as that friction is there, it will lead to anxiety. It will affect your wellness, and it will affect your happiness and satisfaction. What
Right.
happens, we do not first identify and recognize the friction, which initially Kiran said, that self criticism and self appreciation, these are very key powerful words.
Hmm.
We should know who are we, and that knowing is what? Knowing is knowing our own weaknesses, our own, like, what frictions,
Hmm.
where is the problem happening,
Hmm.
why I'm not happy. Even if sometimes you are very successful, we are not happy either. We go to
Often.
pubs and we go to parties, we are not able to enjoy success as well. That
Right.
all shows the, like, we are not well inside. You go gym, you go to yoga, if you are not able to resolve that basic thing, that friction is not resolved, and you
Superb.
are harmony inside, it will
Hmm.
invariably lead to the bad health, physically first, mentally, then physically. अगर
Right.
रूट्स खराब है तो पेड़ खराब होके जाएगा, होना ही होना है.
Hmm. सही
तो
कहा.
इसको हमें हेड ऑन अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ेगा, एंड वी मस्ट, अवेयरनेस पार्ट इज वेरी क्रिटिकल इन इंटायर डायलॉग. अवेयरनेस के बहुत सारे डायमेंशंस हैं.
Yes.
तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है अवेयरनेस, एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी, अवेयरनेस, एंड दैट विल, द हाफ पार्ट ऑफ डिस्कवरी इज, according to me, is awareness.
Hmm.
If you are able to keep yourself aware constantly throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year,
Right.
you will automatically get to know where is the friction arising and how you can resolve it. So I
Right.
think
Superb.
yoga or anything which you are doing with full union in the mind, that is the result of awareness, and we should consciously try. HR should first consciously try to develop the awareness inside, and then it should also help in
Hmm.
organization, all employees, all stakeholders to help that awareness. One more point I would like to put across here: vulnerability of HR. So
Hmm.
HR especially is very much vulnerable, the most vulnerable, unit of an organization. Most vulnerable. Why? Because
Interesting.
because it is not a function which produces goods or services.
Hmm.
It has got a lot of expectation from itself and from other stakeholders.
Hmm.
So that's you, whatever discussion we have to accept this fact that we
Hmm.
do not produce anything, and our result and our objective of existence in
Hmm.
the company is the happiness, our own happiness, and the happiness of others,
Hmm.
satisfaction of others. Productivity will automatically follow. But why it is not doesn't happen, why HR always find itself vulnerable? Because the expectation it has. Juniors have got expectations, seniors have got
Sure.
expectation, line managers, promoters, managing director, family, friends, society, our own aspirations, our own dreams, उसका भी प्रेशर भी होता है. We are, हमारा तो एस्पिरेशन पूरा ही नहीं हो रहा, वो एंग्जाइटी अलग चल रही है. So at various levels, that friction keeps on happening.
I see.
If we are not able to address that one by one,
Right.
come whatever we do, we
Hmm.
will remain vulnerable and we will remain unwell.
Right. So you are saying that actually it's a continuation of what you said earlier,
Yeah.
but I'm just expressing for the benefit of our audiences again. First is to recognize what am I expecting of myself based on the expectations, or aware of that, will enable me to reduce
Yes.
conflict within my mind, and that in turn will enable my well-being to translate into well-doing.
Perfect.
That's what I got from you. Very interesting, Aseem. To take the first question from our audience, right? Any of you can respond, or both of you can respond. The question is, how much does our environment influence our thinking about well-being? Okay, I repeat this. How much does an environment influence our thinking about well-being? For example, I'm just elaborating as I understand it. If I were to, let's say, move from an a now completely Indian work environment, if I were to spend, say, 3-4 years in Europe, would that change what I think about well-being? What do you say? Kiran, if you wish, you could start with it and we'll go to Aseem.
Yeah, sure. So, of course, well-being at workplace is, I mean, there are two important factors when we talk about the environment that influences
Hmm.
mental well-being. See, especially at work, there are two elements to it: the individuals and the organization, right? At
Hmm.
an individual, everybody would like to feel safe and protected, right? And if you
Hmm.
are feeling safe and protected, what happens? You aspire for growth, you look for a higher purpose, and
Hmm.
that's how the productivity goes up, right,
Hmm.
at an individual level. And whereas when you talk about at an organization level,
Hmm.
what kind of environment you are creating, whether I'm working out of US office or UK office or India office or anybody
Hmm.
or Mauritius office, right?
Hmm.
The kind of environment, am I feeling safe in that environment? Am I
Hmm.
being respected? Am I being valued? Is my work being the work that I'm been contributing is that being valued,
Right.
right? Or am I always been worried about my job, my the my role, or for that matter, how my manager is going to treat me? Those worries will definitely slow down the individual productivity, and of
Hmm.
course it impacts the organization. So as an organization, if you look at now, the everywhere, the people are talking about making this as a strategic goal for 2023 and onwards, that
Right.
mental well-being should be on priority,
Right.
right? So yes, it does impact a lot, for an
Okay.
individual.
Sure. So you answered a part of that question, Asim, for making it even more interesting. I'm going to repeat the other aspect of that question. How much does it impact HR's thinking about well-being itself? What well-being means? Would that change if I were to spend
Yeah.
much more time? Let's say I go and do a course in MIT or Harvard. Would that change what I think about well-being, Asim?
Yeah. So I really appreciate the points and opinion of Kiran. I really feel that environment around us definitely impacts our thinking about well-being always, constantly, all the time.
Hmm.
Even if we are not awake, even if we are dreaming, sleeping, again, we are getting impacted throughout
Hmm.
the day, throughout the night. Because see, we are like, I'll go a little bit maybe I don't
Sure.
know whether it's after track or not.
No,
So
please
what is
share.
our mind? How does our mind work? The
Hmm.
mind works through these five six senses.
Hmm.
One sense is called mind as well, thoughts. So
Hmm.
six senses, they constantly, they are open, and they are open to the various stimuli
Hmm.
outside.
Hmm.
All these six senses, five senses for others. So we are always accepting unknowingly or knowingly from
Hmm.
that senses.
Hmm.
And if somebody has said anything, or we have read good book, we
Yes.
have listened to a song, or we have attended this dialogue, or we are in a place, we are in a company, or we are in an atmosphere which is not conducive,
Hmm.
people are pulling leg, all these
Hmm.
things constantly affect our
Hmm.
thinking of well-being. We may try everything, still we will not able to decide what to do.
Hmm.
Sometimes we are so much caught into the entire web of
Right.
the various anxieties which is created through all these impacts on the senses.
Right.
What
Correct.
happens, I other day, I'll just take an like a cue from, I just attended a session from BK Shivani in ETHR
Hmm.
conference.
Hmm.
And she insisted upon a point that we should consciously try to cut off our senses sometimes in a day.
Hmm.
I'm going little ahead. I'm trying to answer
Stop
it.
the stimuli, basically, you're
We
saying.
should cut off. This is the
Hmm.
only way. We should cut off from the stimuli. Number one. Number two, we should consciously try what is going inside us. Consciously try what we
Wow.
are reading. We should decide what to read. Not every
Hmm.
book we should not read.
Hmm.
What music are we listening? Which friends are we talking?
Hmm.
Consciously.
Hmm.
Every day, entire day, it's not possible because most of the day our actions are automatic. So we should try
Right.
living consciously at least for a couple of hours in a day as an HR.
Beautiful.
Then only we are able to somehow counter the effect of influence. Otherwise, this will happen. This will make us vulnerable throughout the life.
Superb.
Yeah.
So, friends, we have a couple new insights over here and very beautiful ones. And one of the insights is, I'm taking it backwards now, is how consciously am I leading my life, breaking it up into more finite time. How am I leading my day? And further, how am I living my minutes? Am I letting the environment and profession and the activities of the day lead my life, run my life? Or am I taking a pause and thinking, what should I do here? That's one insight we got. Second, very beautiful, connecting with both what Kiran and Aseem said, is that we are finally a product of what goes into our mind on a constant basis. And what goes into our mind comes from our stimuli by way of our five senses and by way of the thought generated within. All right. If I make an effort at the start of the day, end of the day, some part of the day, lunchtime, etc., etc., to consciously shut those stimuli, even if it be for a few moments, I will get an opportunity to dwell over what really is going on within me. नहीं तो बाहर का ही जो चल रहा है, that is only continuously, creating impressions on my mind, and I'm not able to really look within. What a beautiful insight. Can HR
Rajesh, can I
do
just
this?
add something? Sorry to
Haji,
interrupt you.
no problem.
You very rightly, and you have really strike the point very rightly. And one thing I just got reminded of,
Sure,
one of my gurus in one of the sessions, he just gave the very powerful this thing, that
sure.
whatever you are aware of, you are control of, and
Hmm.
whatever you are not aware of, it is in control of you. Remember,
Oh,
two different lines. Whatever you are aware of, you are control of, and
hmm.
whatever you are not aware of, it is in control of you.
Beautiful. I
So that's
agree.
so powerful. And where does awareness come from? Awareness comes from the attention. As
Hmm.
Rajesh, you rightly said, day by day, year by year, hour by hour, and minute by minute. Attention.
Yes.
Wherever is our attention is,
Yes.
that will create our reality, whether
Wow.
positive or negative. And what also we need to do, we need to add intention to the attention.
Hmm.
Intention is important.
Hmm.
भाव. तो हम
Superb.
अगर जॉब भी कर रहे हैं, किस भाव से कर रहे हैं?
बहुत बढ़िया.
कोई कॉल अटेंड कर रहे हैं तो किस भाव से कर रहे हैं, वो भी हमारी
Yes.
वेलबींग को इफेक्ट करता है. सो दिस इज जनरेटिंग
Right.
आवर कर्मा इनसाइड.
So,
Number
friends,
one,
yes, sorry, go on.
sorry, I'm just let me complete. Number
No
one,
problem.
one point, very powerful point, that we are getting impacted by the five sensed environment. And what environment means, whatever is coming through hitting us, the five senses from the environment. So
Yes.
we are constantly vulnerable. So we need to
Right.
first understand and accept this vulnerability. As
Hmm.
Rajesh rightly said, we should
Hmm.
decide. We should find out some time in a day or whatever in a day, and try to get aware of what's happening inside. Number one, and the
Right.
number two, how are we doing our karma?
Hmm.
ये अंदर से आता है.
सही
दो,
बात.
एक बाहर का हो गया और एक अंदर का भी है. एक तो हमने अवेयरनेस कर ली. अब कर्मा क्या है हमारा, हमारा इंटेंशन
Right.
क्या है, वो हमारे
Right.
अंदर की इम्प्योरिटीज से आता है.
Hmm.
उसके प्रति भी अवेयर होना है. तो थॉट वाला पार्ट वहां से आएगा, सिक्स सेंसेस.
Right.
राइट.
Superb. So I'm going to now change tack a little bit, okay? And Kiran, I want you to respond to this.
Hmm.
It's one thing to say, I must take time out to cut off from my stimuli, okay? What happens when I'm dealing with my offices in US and Europe and I'm forced into as HR, get into meetings at 11 p.m., midnight and so on. अभी उस पर मेरा क्या कंट्रोल है? What does this do to HR well-being? Is it even fair? Can my organization truly expect me to be at my best at such odd hours? Okay, I'm purposely bringing a controversial side to it. How much control do I have over this? Please share.
Yeah, so this is a real life example, right? And this is the bitter truth of working in a global environment,
Hmm.
right? First, you have to know, are you passionate about what you're doing,
Hmm.
right? If you are, in
Hmm.
that case, how much relationship you have built with your colleagues, your manager, people around you with whom you have meeting at these odd hours.
Hmm.
Third thing, is your organization giving you a flexibility to work
Hmm.
in different time zones? For an
Hmm.
example, if I have an 11 p.m. meeting, that means I have accepted that meeting,
Hmm.
right? That's first thing. Second thing, if I have accepted, like
Hmm.
Aseem said, मन से आपको अटेंड करना है, किस भाव से अटेंड कर रहे हो?
Hmm.
आप इरिटेट होके करोगे, then it will not be productive. On the top of it, you'll keep cribbing about it all the time, and you'll keep accepting those meetings at odd hours because you have not gone ahead and spoken to the organizer of the meeting saying, this is an order, can we make it an alternative time zone? This time I attend, next time we make it
Superb.
as per my convenience. And the second point that I had made about flexible working
Hmm.
hours, right?
Hmm.
So I choose to if I have meetings in the night, 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m. or 10:30,
Right.
I am putting an effort to talk to my manager, to my team, saying that I'll be working, I'll start my day late because
Hmm.
I have a late meeting, and everybody will understand.
Hmm.
It's our own inhibition to not to speak, and that's one thing we as an HR need to learn and come out of it,
बढ़िया.
because we want to be good in the books of everybody.
Right.
You are not a robot, man. You are human being. And I
Hmm.
said, as I said in the beginning, you need to love yourself.
Hmm.
If you're not going to speak up, nobody's going to read your mind. That's simple.
Hmm.
You are living in a corporate world.
Hmm. Superb.
Right?
Very
So
nice.
you need to first accept that yes, I need my time. I need some time for my family, and there is a very clear demarcation between a personal and a professional life, right? And we judge people by saying, oh, he will not understand, but have you spoken about it to that
Hmm.
person? How would
Hmm.
other person knows that you are uncomfortable at that time zone? So I'm being blessed and lucky to be working in an organization where this much flexibility is given to us,
Wow.
right? So I may choose not to attend, and I may choose to reach out to people, and
Hmm.
they are very mindful, they check with you. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure everybody knows that even in Outlook, when you respond accept, there
Hmm.
is an option to propose time. There is
Hmm.
an option to decline too, with a
Hmm.
reason. Why don't we use those options?
बहुत बढ़िया. So,
And
yeah.
Rajesh, there's a new thing now with an
हाँ जी.
AI. If you look at uh, Microsoft Outlook,
Hmm.
if you have planned your day, and
Hmm.
Microsoft knows that
Hmm.
which time zone you are working. If you're
Hmm.
trying to send an email to a person who is in
Hmm.
US time zone in the
Hmm.
morning at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, it immediately tells you this is outside the working hour, try sending it little at this time. Or if you're
Interesting.
sending your mail to your Indian colleague, it
Right.
says try to send it tomorrow at 9 a.m. Boss, up to system be, and artificial intelligence is also telling you at least use your intelligence then.
Hmm.
So why we
Hmm.
as an HR, why only HR, we as a human being don't understand this aspect? I think that's where the bigger thing is. Do I know myself, and do I know what I want in
बहुत
life?
बढ़िया.
The purpose itself is missing, and hence we end up doing all these dramas in our life, right? So
Right.
that's my
So,
point.
friends, we've got a very important and valuable insight here, right? Are we as HR standing up for, I'm calling it, our beliefs? We spend a lot of time standing up for the beliefs, the causes of our employees, of our organization. Are we standing up for our beliefs and our own cause? Number one. Number two, as Kiran rightly said, are we exercising the option of speaking up? Are we exercising the option of sometimes saying no with reasons? Because perhaps by not doing that, because of some inhibition, some fear, we could be adding actually stress and anxiety to ourselves, which will end up showing on our interaction with team members, on our interaction with other people in the organization. बहुत ही सही कहा, beautiful, Kiran. So I'm going to Aseem again. All right, Aseem, a short time ago, a few months ago, you were part of a well-being retreat, which MTHR and thanks again to the organization, Mana, who is also hosting this. We were able to, about 40 of us were able to get away and spend time with ourselves and each other. My question to you is, how often is this possible in a hectic work environments to take a little break from ourselves, if I can call it that, and our work cells and our work environment? इसकी कितनी जरूरत है आज? पॉसिबल है?
इसको हमें पॉसिबल करना पड़ेगा, चॉइस नहीं है। सो चॉइस नहीं है। एचआर का जो ऑफ साइट्स होती हैं, वी हैव टू चेंज द एंटायर स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द ऑफ साइट। लीडरशिप रिट्रीट्स जो कंपनीज में होती हैं, जिसके अंदर पीपल गो एंड पार्टी, डांस, बूज, this will be a waste of money. People have to, now we have to understand that entire thing should be focused on discovery part. So that's a great opportunity for the organization. Every year organizations have budget. We waste this budget. जो फन करते हैं, फन करके कुछ नहीं मिलता है। So that budget, we should, if we utilize that budget by collaborating with such kind of people like Mana or all, it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation. Parties भी करो आप, मतलब not saying, but जो 2-3 दिन की retreats होती हैं, that retreat in all organizations should change. Wow. It should come invariably, उसमें at least one day should focus on wellness. At least one day चलो fun कर लो. One day consciously. And wellness क्या है? Helping the person to explore, try, talk, share. इसके लिए टाइम लगेगा, 1 दिन 2 दिन लगते हैं इसमें, जाके 1 घंटे में नहीं होने वाला। Superb. So उसके लिए there are now companies, there are so many NGOs who are available. They should be now approached to collaborate. All organizations should collaborate with these people. HR should have even mandate कि every year one well-being workshop होगी off-site के form पे।
Right. आप सिर्फ MTHR को बुलाइए, हम कर देंगे।
Yes, definitely. It's a great idea.
Very nice. Folks,
so Rajesh, I want to add one point here. Remember, because mental health is purely a systematic issue, right? Because it's all about people, right? So we need to look at the entire people supply chain, and more importantly, how it is driven by a strong sense of purpose. If I know why I am doing what I am doing, it makes a huge difference. Then when you have a purpose, the drive automatically comes.
Okay.
So just for example, like when we did this MTHR retreat, we never let this purpose slip away. Throughout these 3 days, there was a thread which was binding us. We knew exactly this will happen. This time this will happen. All these things were planned. And that's why it was so healthy. It led to great results. So that's exactly what I completely resonate with what Kiran said. We should not lose the purpose.
Superb. My God. Amazing alignment, I feel, between our two guests and overall what we are bringing to you, dear audiences. So friends, I want to tell you that we have very limited time in today's conversation. merely limited by the time we set for this dialogue, but it can continue, online and so on. But I want to remind you to put in any questions that you may have, please, because we love our guest of today to answer any of the questions you may have. Please do it now. We will await your questions. However, I do want to read out what one of our guests has said today. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to go to. We have so many comments now flowing in that I've already lost the question. Okay. Pramod ji spoke about expansion of consciousness. Okay. Now I know this sounds fairly spiritual. All right. But if I were to take it to practical terms, all right, I'm asking this question to both of you. Is it possible to expand organizational consciousness, make it very practical? What is one thing that you would recommend, Kiran? What is one thing that you would recommend, Aseem?
That's a tough one, right?
Yes. Anything that comes to your mind as a to do for expanding organizational consciousness?
So may I, Rajesh?
Haji,
Go
please.
ahead.
So I'm just working, developing what Kiran said, that
Yes.
purpose and vision. Organization has to rethink and re-evolve the vision
Yes.
consciously and make sure that vision involves service to others as well. So
Mm,
vision of any organization
perfect.
invariably has a element, should have a element of service, number one, and number two, the core values
Mm,
which will enable the organization and the people to achieve that vision. It should always stick to those core values, come what may. It should be non-negotiable, and if
right.
it's able to do it, or the consciousness of the organization will constantly evolve, and it will become bigger and bigger and bigger and biggest, just like
Wow.
Tata's, Infosys, and all great
Right.
companies, right?
So, one way to expand consciousness, dear audiences, as we heard from Aseem, is a refocus on how are we contributing to the greater good of society rather than just what we do inside companies. How are we contributing to the larger environment? Wow, amazing. And one insight that I want to take from him, as he mentioned earlier, is that uh, we need to find opportunities to change the meaning of fun and not look at fun only as partying and drinking and so on and so forth, which is extremely superficial in nature. Can we find opportunities to make fun as discovery, spending time with each other, learning more about each other? I'm reading out a comment from Pramodji again. He is excellent with words, as we know. He's saying wellness is both a driver and derivative of unconscious bias. Wellness is both a driver and a derivative of unconscious bias. Okay, so friends, that is food for thought for all of us. I haven't got any new questions. I will. We still have 5 minutes. I can take a question, but I'm going to take advantage of the time I have with our guest because I'm just not getting enough. I, I'd love to spend more and more time with them. So here's my question. uh, एक उदाहरण दे रहा हूं दोनों को आपको. Today I was speaking to a senior HR person in an organization and we were discussing consulting work and all of it. Since I've known that individual for a while, she very candidly said that she's having a problem with COVID batch new joiners. Okay, I repeat, she's having a problem with COVID batch new joiners. She says that we have not even been able to meet these employees because they are not willing to come to office, since even though it's been a long time since office has resumed. So my question to you is again very practical terms. How do I even care about their wellness? I don't even know who they are as people. I don't even know if they are interested in my organization. And आपने कहा Aseem, purpose and values of organization. ऐसे न्यू जॉइनर्स को मैं कैसे इंटीग्रेट करूं विथ माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? Yes, I
Can
could.
I answer that?
Yes, I could see Kiran smile, suggesting that कुछ तो है मेरे पास solution. Please go.
Huh, because we deal with this situation day in and out, right? And especially the last 2.5 years. And thanks to whatever happened, right? The
Hmm.
reason I say thanks is it helped us to think differently.
Hmm.
And it also made us realize that you don't have to be in person to build that engagement and to connect with people,
Hmm.
right? And it is all about, like Aseem ji said, bhav. आपके मन में भाव क्या है? Why
Hmm.
you are doing what you do? So
Hmm.
for these, especially the Gen Z there out,
Hmm.
you have to connect with them. They need that attention.
Hmm.
You don't have to meet them in person. You have,
Hmm.
multiple ways, and you have
Hmm.
to multiple tools available to connect with them,
Interesting.
right?
Hmm.
And for an example, you have my MS Teams, or you have Zoom, you have WhatsApp, you have anything and everything that you want. They have it readily available with them. It's
Hmm.
if you really want, you will do that, right? And
Wow.
we have done that in the last 2.5 years.
Hmm.
And trust me, more than 200 people, trainees were, trained from academy, and
Hmm.
every single person was very well touched by us in terms of how they are
Hmm.
doing, how is their family doing. And it's
Hmm.
not just about the training part, but also about their personal well-being too.
Hmm.
So it is about what you really want to achieve there. That's the key.
Hmm.
Just to
So,
add further what Kiran
yes,
said,
please. Yes,
Hmm.
that
please.
I completely agree what Kiran said, that it's not
Hmm.
required that physically we are present. If
Yeah.
it was to happen that we wouldn't have been influenced by so many great people like our icons,
Hmm.
Tata, Narayan Murthy, they
Hmm.
shape the lives of so many people.
Hmm.
तो एक कनेक्शन फिजिकल होता है, एक कनेक्शन आपका आंतरिक भी होता है, which is
Hmm.
inside.
Wow.
So if you are pure and that purity resonates from you, purity oozes out from you, that will
Hmm.
definitely reach to that person, and he will
Hmm.
definitely get impacted, and you will get a connection for
Hmm.
sure.
Yep, Asim ji, because your passion is visible, and if you're
Yeah.
talking to somebody genuinely, the other
Yeah.
person understands. I mean, you
Yeah,
cannot fool people. You cannot be
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
mask all the time and
So
try to
I
be
think
fake.
with this, I think that HR's mastery over its own emotions and feelings,
Hmm.
and at least
Hmm.
journey towards mastery, so not possible. At least journey towards mastery, and being aware that it is very important job, as important as anything else. That
Hmm.
will definitely lead to what she said. That when we do that, we will automatically be aligned to our purpose. We will automatically be aligned to our values. We will be understanding what is going inside us, and we'll have empathy, compassion automatically will come inside us.
So, Rajesh, the other thing is this Gen Z, right? You in
Right.
front of them, you have to walk the talk, right?
Right.
If you say you are available for them, so the moment they ping you or they call
Hmm.
you, if you're not
Are
able
you
to
truly
answer, please
available?
call back.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't take them for granted that they are
Hmm.
These,
trainees, they
yeah,
are
these
using
small
these
things really
tools.
matter a lot, right? We are very right. So
Yeah,
what I
and
started doing, just for small example,
Hmm.
in my company we have got more than 60% people scattered, not in Delhi,
Hmm.
and they are scattered across India in more than 50
Hmm.
plus offices.
Hmm.
So every day, HR, my team members, they send birthdays mailers, and I
Hmm.
used to forget wishing personally on my mobile, and I used to
Hmm.
have that anxiety inside. Yeah, that's not this is I should have done it. I should
Hmm.
personally wish every single person. So what I've started doing, I've started replying on the email. मैंने कहा
Hmm.
मोबाइल पे तो पॉसिबल नहीं है, बट एटलीस्ट मेल तो मैं कर
Hmm.
सकता हूँ ना.
क्योंकि
So
दिखता तो है. Hmm.
right, and if that mail intention and how is good, that
Hmm.
mail itself will reach that person, and he will get that very positive impact.
Hmm.
It has started happening.
Superb. Okay, folks, we are nearly at the end of our session. Okay, I hate to stop this conversation, but we are going to take one last question. And I'm going to request brief response from you, Kiran and Aseem both. Okay, here it goes. The question is from Megha. Megha, sometimes HR is in a dilemma to support the employee and decision is in favor of management, which is not non-arguable. What to do in such situations? Okay, what I gather from here is you need to, you feel from within कि एम्प्लॉय को सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, लेकिन डिसीजन जो लग रहा है मैनेजमेंट का है इज ऑलरेडी नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ द एम्प्लॉय. क्या करना चाहिए? एंड How does HR manage this without affecting our own well-being? Yes, please go. Very briefly, Aseem, I know it's a
So
tough one,
it
but
is a reality,
mm,
right? Remember, you are also an employee, and
mm,
as a swami, as
mm,
a amatya, you have to follow your
mm,
swami's decision, what
mm,
he wants,
mm,
right? But remember, as an HR, so
mm,
HR is also an employee, right? How
mm,
you convey that message, how you
mm.
take that decision and convey that message
Right.
to an employee makes a huge difference. First of
Mm,
all, get convinced and then pass the message. The reason being, if you're not
nice.
convinced, how much ever you try, you will never be able to pass on the message in the right sense. Because if you are in a doubt, how
Wow.
will you articulate that message? Your words
Excellent.
don't come. Yeah. And
Excellent.
there,
So,
ask your
insight for
leaders who has
you,
given
Mega and other.
you.
Sorry, go on, please.
Continue. No, I said
Okay. So,
it
I
is
was
all
saying
about.
quick insights for all that conviction of HR matters and then the how has to follow. Yes. Aseem, आप बताइए please. Sorry to cut you off, Kiran. Please say it, Aseem.
Yeah. So my point is that while I completely agree what Kiran has said, I have got this dimension that whenever we come across such situation where we are not able to decide what is good or what is bad, and
Hmm.
we have to, we have to test this on three criterias. Number
Hmm.
one, is it harming myself? Is it harming the company? Or is it harming the employee?
Hmm.
सो ये पहले देखना है कि ये जो डिसीजन है इसके लिए आपका माइंड शांत होना पड़ेगा देन ओनली यू विल एबल टू सी द कॉज एंड इफेक्ट दैट इफ
Hmm.
दिस विल हैपन व्हाट विल हैपन इन द एंड
Hmm.
whether it will be largely harmful for the company or largely beneficial for the employee. Number one,
Hmm.
इसके लिए you need to have fearless,
Hmm.
you need to be very fearless inside, you need to
Hmm.
have truth with inside, and
Hmm.
even if you have a short term that is harming employee,
Hmm.
then as he rightly said, that bhav is important. If you are doing with a
Hmm.
good bhav, good intention,
Hmm.
with the intention to help that person,
Hmm.
then it will not harm him in any way, and you
Hmm.
are able to, as an employee, as an HR, you will be able to perform your duties in a
Wow.
best possible manner.
So Rajesh, just last few words. You
Yes.
know, follow Gita, right? It says detach from a person and situation. Do
Hmm.
your karma. That's what I would
Hmm.
like to say.
Superb. So, first of all, great gratitude to all those who logged in. We had more comments and questions, which simply tells you the quality of the conversation, Kiran and Aseem. And of course, to Aulak ji, who has been constantly commenting and encouraging us. He says, "Thank you for a wonderful and insightful session. This is so important in today's context." Gratitude to Pramodji, Megha, Anil, Raman, and so many others who have been, chatting on the at the side and basically agreeing with your comments. That's number one. Number two, sincere gratitude to you, Aseem and Kiran. We've had a conversation, a dialogue of a very different nature today. All right, I feel we have touched a slightly higher dimension today. So thanks for taking us there, because ऐसी बातें generally HR और organization well-being में नहीं होती. I'm not saying it wasn't there. शांति की बातें होती है, calmness does come. But to be in tune with yourself, your inner harmony are some of the thoughts that came up today, right? Then Indian philosophy, the learning, the Gita, ये सब बहुत ही अहम बातें हैं. इनफैक्ट प्रमोद जी इज आस्किंग, प्रमोद जी, आई विश आई कुड आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन now, but we've run out of time. What does Chanakya say to that question which Megha asked? मैं बताऊंगा ग्रुप पर, but for now we'll have to close. I am unable to come on video, my dear friends, because if I show you how it looks, you will probably all run away. Here it is. So, namaste, dhanyawad, and great gratitude to all of you. Thanks once again
Thank
for
you so
all
much.
of you, and
Thank you,
especially
Kiranji. Thank you,
Madhav and
Rajesh.
Yes.
Thank you, Aseem ji, and thank you,
Thank you,
Rajesh,
everyone.
and thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
audience. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everyone, for
Thank
Bye
commenting.
bye.